definitely a rise in domestic abuse cases. The domestic abuse hotline has seen unprecedented amount of calls. There is also the rise in child abuse claims, and there is also a rise in divorce filings. So, I know that this is a weird time, but it's also just an opportunity for there to be such a dark time. So I think it's just really important that we are checking on all the people that we need to check on. Like if someone crosses your mind, do not, trust me, I know from where I speak. If you're thinking about someone, if they cross your mind, if you wish you could see them, please, I beg you, pick up the phone and call the person. Call your strong friend. Call your weak friend. Call your emotional friend. Call your depressed friend. And you know what? That energy is going to come back to you because someone is going to look out for you too. And you may not need it right now, but we all need it, because here's what I do know about life. This elevator goes up as well as it comes down. So today for you, tomorrow for me. So that is why it's just important for you to guard your energy during this time. I know we talk about conscientiousness and mindfulness a lot here, but I can't express enough why now is a time for everyone to just really, really just be conscious of what this time is. Speaking of conscious, so it looks like Kanye West and his Sunday service choir will no longer be appearing on Joel Osteen's Easter service. Kanye allegedly pulled out due to safety concerns. Now, I guess it was safety for his choir, right? Because you can't exactly have all of them together. I think that Kanye is a genius, and I think that Kanye could have provided. This is just an idea that I'm throwing out there. I think it would have been really dope, even if he could not figure out the logistics of it while doing it live. I think it would have been really great for him to arm his entire choir with tablets or laptops or whatever, and get them to do like a individual at home simulcast, and then kind of get their voices together somehow to be able to take part in this. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But sources connected to TMZ say that the two were in contact Friday working out a spot for Kanye's choir to perform. His team was going to be stationed in Los Angeles and record a few songs for Joel's service. Kanye's choir, which has about 100 members, were going to be wearing masks and adhere to the social distancing rules. Unfortunately, after everything was put in place, Kanye just did not feel that it was safe enough for everyone, so he pulled out. Mariah Carey, though, will be performing, as well as Tyler Perry will speak. So if you are still interested, you can still catch that. And I know for a fact that there are always replays of those things. Can we talk this week about why the Dream thought that he could even compare himself to the confessional God? So if you didn't hear, The Weeknd claimed that Usher copied his style in his hit song Climax and thought it was very flattering. I knew I was doing something right, but I also got angry, is what the Dream said. But the older I got, I realized it's a good thing. I'm not a big fan of The Weeknd. I'm not even gonna pussyfoot. I'm not a big fan of his. I don't understand. His vibe seems to be for Coachella babies. Like white girls who like to touch on their body when they're dancing, like that. Like he feels like he's that kind of vibe. Like he would be like, I don't know, for black guys who play hockey and go to Coachella and they are the token black guy in their group. I don't know. And that's not shade. It just feels like that's who The Weeknd, that's his audience. And I know a lot of y'all niggas like him too. That's your like, when I'm feeling out here, when I don't feel like being thugged out and I want to listen. Anyways. So I just think that, number one, I don't think that Usher's climax, even though it is sang in a falsetto tone, it doesn't remind me of The Weeknd. Like, I don't hear The Weeknd and think, damn, Usher he really took that. He really jocked that style. Like, if Erykah Badu wanted to say that Ari Lennox was one of her sons, I could see it. Just in tone and inflection, but not in style. And I think that they're two different types of singers. I think Ari's voice is weightier. Like, I think that Usher, Climax was an opera. I don't think that Climax is signature of Usher's style, but Usher is definitely the type of artist who likes to stretch himself vocally. So I don't think that it's fair for The Weeknd to say that. Now, Usher had a very petty response. Did y'all see it? He posted a video of himself just kind of hitting them runs in Climax. And like, let's be real. Anytime I've ever seen The Weeknd perform, I have not been wowed. Sorry. I've not been wowed by his voice. I wouldn't consider him like, Usher can sing all of The Weeknd songs. I would never want to hear The Weeknd singing Usher's songs, period. Okay, so let's just move on. Because I think that's where you can leave that. All right? Did y'all hear that they said that people who drink and smoke weed, people who drink the alcohol and smoke weed are more susceptible to getting COVID? Bitch! Yes, they did try us. They tried us. Here's what I have to say. I don't doubt that smoking compromises your lungs. And alcohol thins your blood. Therefore, we're going to have some different responses here. Okay. But, listen, you can't want to get healthy now. You know what I mean? Like, you can't want to be that nigga who is like, I don't wear condoms, but I wear masks and I'm going to wipe myself in antibacterial sanitizer. Like, you can't be that nigga. You know what I mean? And that's not shade. I'm just saying you can't be that nigga. You can't want to eat healthy. I mean, listen, eating healthy is always a great thing. You can't work out now when you wasn't working out before. You know what I mean? And doing it, and let me correct that. You can work out. Anybody can work out. I'm not the workout police. But what I'm saying is, if you're doing it to have a desired result right now, like, if you're doing it just so you won't get the COVID, that's not going to work. If you're doing it because you want to get on the ball and, whatever. Because listen, let's be real. Niggas, you're either going to pop out after this and pop out, bitch. And like pop out like, oh shit. All right. You looking COVID fresh. Or you're going to pop out and everybody's going to be like, what on earth did you eat a small child? Listen, I had to check myself because one of my friends yesterday, he looked at me, he was like, your face look a little fuller. And he actually said, your face looks fat. And I damn near gagged. Because honestly, you don't really when you see yourself every day, I almost feel like the more I look at myself in the mirror, the less I actually see myself for like the changes that are occurring. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you don't see those pounds that you're putting on, but like my boobs definitely look large and in charge, Marge, which they always are, but like, bitch. And like my face definitely looks rounder, you know, like my hip bones are not giving me, you know, fever right now. I really want them to open back up the gym. I do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I miss that bitch. So this week we are going to also, I just want to like take a moment to like just spread some positivity. Shout out to my girl Rihanna, because number one, y'all are going to stop asking her about this fucking album, because bitch, she's never given us the album. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't even ask you. Did you watch the Clark Sisters? What did you think, bitch? Let me say this. Number one, if you are someone who knows, because I would consider the Clark Sisters part of modern Black culture, pop culture, right? For popular culture for Black people, right? And for the Christian set, you know, if you grew up and, you know, it was like staunch Christian home, or you knew somebody, like you went to an aunt's house who was like knee deep in the Holy Spirit, or you went to your big mama's house, my Dia's house, mama house, whatever. And they were like, oh no, we only plead the blood over here. We don't play no secular music. We don't do none of that. Okay. We don't play like that over here. Like, then you know the Clark Sisters. Because I remember growing up, and I can remember where the sound of gospel changed. You know what I mean? Like, I could remember the artists that helped to kind of usher that in. So like, and it was less about them being pop stars, because they weren't. It was about the riffs and the runs that they did that really likened itself to what R&B was doing, and the melodies that they used and the beats that they used. So, you know, Commission was big for me. The Winans were big for me. BB and CC were big for me. The Clark Sisters were big for me. Andre Crouch, very big. Okay. Fred Hammond, and Fred Hammond came a little bit further, because I mean he was in Commission, but he came a little bit further down the line. Even Kirk Franklin was like, when it was like, all right, we flipping it on its head, you know. But the Clark Sisters, one of the things that was unique and dynamic about experiencing them in that time was they were vocal dynamos, and you knew it. And you knew that if ever placed in an arena with whoever your favorite pop goddess was at that time, any one of the sisters could tear it down. I don't care if it's Twinkie, Dorinda, Karen, Denise, it don't matter. The sisters could tear it down. Okay? They did things vocally that, you know, a lot of us we only knew that kind of vocal range through modern R&B and pop culture. We didn't know it in gospel, you know? So to see these women, and the thing is, I'm not from Detroit, so I can't imagine what it was like in Detroit to feel, because I can remember, you always had like the spin-off singing groups in church, the girls that could they could sing, they could play double dutch, those girls. So I could remember growing up and having in my aunt's church, it was a Seventh-day Adventist church, a group of girls that could really, really sing. And they actually, I think 3 were sisters, or 2 were sisters and cousins. And then the other 2 were sisters. And then there was another cousin, so they were all basically related. And they very much idolized the Clark sisters and very much did a lot of the things that, the runs and the risks that the Clark sisters were doing. But, you know, the movie, and I don't want to give it away, so no spoiler alert, but the movie, it was, to me, I thought it was excellently done. I actually want to watch